Good evening, one and all. On behalf of Council, I recognise the traditional custodians of the land and pay tribute to elders past, present and emerging. As councillors of Ku-ring-gai Council, we should always be aware that the decisions we make affect the daily lives of those we represent. Let us all make these decisions with knowledge, goodwill and respecting the views of others. Before we start tonight's meeting, I would like to outline a few points regarding this evening's proceedings. Tonight's meeting will be live streamed on the Council website at www.krg.nsw.gov.au/live stream. Only councillors and council staff will be shown on camera. The webcast of the meeting is available on Council's website. The webcast will commence once the Mayor is seated and will cease if Council goes into confidential, where the public and press are excluded, pursuant to Section 10A of the Local Government Act. Council meetings remain open to the public as observers, but in line with the Code of Meeting Practice, speakers will now address the Council through the monthly public forum and not at Council meetings. For more information about addressing Council, please refer to our website. All present tonight must refrain from engaging in disorderly conduct, publicly alleging breaches of the Council's Code of Conduct, or making other potentially defamatory statements. Councillors and Council staff must declare and manage any conflicts of interests that they may have in relation to any item of business that is the subject of the meeting agenda this evening. Apologies, we have all councillors present and online. Staff apologies.
Mr Mayor, the General Manager is an apology due to illness.
Thank you. Documents circulated to councillors.
Mr Mayor, there are a number of documents circulated. The first one relates to GB10, Review of Councillor Expenses and Facilities Policy, which is a memo of today's date from the Manager, Governance and Corporate Strategy. There's a document relating to GB16, Ku-ring-gai Urban Forest Strategy Post-Exhibition Report, which is a memo from the Director Strategy and Environment dated 11 November. There are two memos relating to GB20, Planning Proposal for 130 Kelleton Street, St Ives, both from the Director Strategy and Environment of today's date. There is another memo regarding NM1, retaining recreation space in Roseville Chase, which is a memo from the Manager, Urban and Heritage Planning dated 9 November. And lastly, there is a document relating to GB21, the proposed heritage listing of 10 Park Crescent, Pymble, which is a memo from the Director of Strategy and Environment dated today, 15 November.
Councillors, just check that you have all those greens. Confirmation of reports to be considered in closed meeting.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. There are two reports. One relates to C1, Review of Organisation Structure, and the other is for C2, Recycling Bins in Public Spaces. There's also a number of attachments relating to GB11. There is attachment 1 and 2 for the Internal Audit Services tender. Relating to GB12, which is a tender for road, car park, cycleway and footpath cleaning services, there is attachment 1 and 2. Relating to GB13, which is design and construct tender 25 metre indoor pool refurbishment, there is attachment 2. And relating to GB14, which is a tender for the Phillip Mall play space upgrade, there is attachment 2.
Thank you, and I need a motion that those items remaining confidential. Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Ward. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting. Moved Councillor Wheatley, seconded Councillor Spencer. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Minutes from the Mayor, there are none this month. Petitions, there are none unless any councillors have anything ready to table. There being none, I invite councillors to nominate any items on the agenda that they wish to have a site inspection. No site. Councillor Kay, you have a site inspection.
I do. It is GB 21, the proposed heritage listing for 10 Park Crescent, Pemble. If I may.
So we have a motion for a site inspection moved by Councillor Kay, seconded by Councillor Spencer. All those in favour of the site inspection on GB 21? That is Councillor Spencer, Kay, Alec, Taylor, Wheatley, Ward, Lennon, Nye, Taylor, Pettit. Against? Councillor Smith. We'll have a site inspection on GB 21. Yep. Before we move into the GB items, declarations of interest. Councillors, any declarations on any GB items? Is there any staff declarations on any items?
There are no declarations, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. I invite councillors to nominate any item on the agenda that they wish to adopt in accordance with the officer's recommendation, allowing for minor changes without debate. Councillor Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I am in hope to move the following GB items, and if any councillor that wishes to withdraw, please say so, and then I will repeat again the list when we eventually vote on it.
Thank you.
So GB 1.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Nye. You had your light on? That's okay. Seconded Councillor Kay. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 2.
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn by Councillor Wheatley.
GB 3.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Ward. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 4.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Wheatley. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 5.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Alec Taylor. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 6.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Wheatley. All those in favour? It's unanimous.
GB 7.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Lennon. All those in favour? It's unanimous.
I'll leave GB 8.
Thank you.
GB 9.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Kay. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 10.
With the late memo. Moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Wheatley. All those in favour?
GB 11.
It's unanimous. A little bit quick there, Councillor Spencer.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Speedy
GB 11.
Gonzalez.
It's okay. GB 11 moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Lennon. All those in favour? It's unanimous.
GB 12.
GB 12 moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Wheatley. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 13.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Ward. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 14.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Lennon. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 15.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Wheatley. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
Now, GB 16, may I move that we defer this to the next meeting or when staff is ready to bring this back? This is following the discussion we had earlier. I believe some emails need to be sent through.
So that's moved to be deferred to the next meeting, which was moved by Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Kay. We're deferring GB 16 to the next meeting. All those in favour? That is Councillors Spencer, Kay, Alec Taylor, Councillor Ward, Councillor Lennon, Councillor Nye, Councillor Smith, Councillor Pettit against. Councillor Greg Taylor, that's carried, that we will defer GB 16 to the next meeting.
Or when staff is ready to bring it back. Thank you. GB 17, I propose the same. Sorry?
Councillor Spencer, we just deferred the urban forest strategy. Were you referring to Coleton Street?
No, urban forest.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We just thought we'd just triple check.
Thank you.
That's okay.
And back to GB 17.
Yes.
I propose the same, that we defer to the next meeting or when staff is ready to bring that back.
Could I possibly add some words
Yeah,
to
sure,
that?
please. Thank you.
That this matter be deferred to allow for engagement with the relevant stakeholders as well. We'll just get staff to do the wording.
17.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can we expand on that a little bit, just for the residents that are here for the glade?
Okay, so can I have a second for that? I seconded Councillor Kay. I'll speak to that. So basically what we're doing with GB 17, which is the Glade Master Plan, we're looking to defer this for further consultation with local stakeholders, which will include but not limited to the residents, user groups, sporting groups, for example. Is that sufficient? Thank you, Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So as soon as the wording is ready, we can vote on that.
Okay. Councillors, we're all clear with the wording? And I'll just put that to the vote. All those in favour? I'm assuming Councillor Smith has his hand up because I can't see it on the screen. Yes, he does. Thank you. That's unanimous.
So we good. GB 18, officer's recommendation.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Kay. All those in favour? That is unanimous.
GB 19, officer's recommendation.
Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Ward. All those in favour? That's unanimous.
GB 20, officer's recommendation.
With the late memos?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Which has the...
Do you think for completeness we should put that up?
I think we should put that up on the
Yes.
screen.
Can you excuse us, Councillor Smith? You're in our way.
Just while that's coming up on the screen, I will remind councillors that they are on camera.
So that's the new wording. And that will replace the current wording. Is it to replace or to add? There should be more than 2 paragraphs. Okay, there it is. Sorry, Andrew, you're just replacing the first 2.
Councillors, it does take a little bit of time to format that, but if you can read that and digest it.
Can I suggest that you
This is also from the email sent by the director at 6:48, if you so wish to look at your emails. That's okay.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I may, that it is essentially the first 2 paragraphs. The first 2 paragraphs that's in addition to the others. Am I right, Director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. B and C are the different ones.
It's consistent with the email we all received.
Correct, as
Today,
discussed in
yeah.
the briefing.
And as seconder, Councillor Kay, did you second that one?
You seconded this one? No? Oh.
I'm happy to second that way. Full completeness, shall we say? Yep.
So are we good to go?
We good to go, councillors? So I'll put the new updated officer's recommendation on the screen, which has been highlighted in yellow. All those in favour? I think people are still reading in Councillor Spencer, so I might just hang 5. Yep. We all good now? We're comfortable? I'll then call for the vote again. All those in favour? That is Councillor Spencer. You're
No.
not.
I'm just moving it.
You're just moving it. I seconded it. Yep. Okay. Okay. Crystal clear? So, is there any questions, debate on this particular motion? Okay. There being none, all those in favour of the motion as per the screen? Before I do that, Councillor Lennon, you have a quick question.
Well, so are we debating this before voting on it? Or?
If you want to ask a question and debate, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, unless it's a very quick, sharp question.
So are we withdrawing this or are we voting on it?
It's entirely up to you. If you want to debate, you withdraw it.
If you want to debate and ask questions on it, withdraw.
Okay, all right. So we'll just vote.
Happy to go with whatever way you wish to go. That's okay. All right. All those in favour of this motion, which is Councillors Wheatley, Ward, Smith, Pettit against, Councillor Spencer, Councillor Kay, Councillor Alec Taylor, Councillor Lennon, Councillor Nye, Councillor Taylor. That is lost.
I'll carry on.
C1 and
So C1, officer's recommendation.
moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Kay. We move to the C1 confidentials. All those in favour? That is unanimous.
And C2, officer's recommended.
Can I withdraw that, please?
You can withdraw that.
So I'll just summarize what we've done, if that's okay.
Yes, Councillor Spencer.
I
that would be
believe that is it. So,
worthwhile.
so what we've done is we've moved GB 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, C1 and C2, and I believe that's it.
C2 is withdrawn.
I'm sorry. Did I say C2? I'm so sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. We now move to the NMs. Councillor Nye.
Yes, I'd like to move NM1 with a minor amendment that can go up on the screen. Oh, without debate.
Withdrawn.
Oh, withdrawn. Okay, cool.
Withdrawn it anyway. We was going to move it without debate. That's okay. Councillors, we go back to GB2, which is a council meeting and public forum dates for 2023, which was withdrawn by Councillor Wheatley. Councillor Wheatley, do you have a motion?
Yes.
Excellent.
That we move the, I'm just going to find the page. Where is it? Yeah, I've got it actually turned over, but I've just got a bloody phone. Okay, here we go. That we move the public forum to the 7th of February and the council meeting, the ordinary meeting of the council, to the 14th. The reason for that being is that we have an 8-week break in between. I think it's best that we get back to business as soon as possible.
I'll second that.
Seconded at Councillor Alec Taylor. There be no other lights on. I'm quite happy to put that forward.
Sorry,
Unless you've got a
can I
question?
just clarify which month? Sorry.
February.
Yeah, just to
February,
clarify.
yes.
Thank
Yeah.
I'll move that, put that motion. All those in favour? That is Councillor Spencer, Councillor Kay, Councillor unanimous. Rightio, councillors, we move to GB8, which is the election of chairpersons of the new Council Advisory Reference Committee. And I would just like to advise the councillors that I am happy to chair both committees as provided under the terms of reference. And therefore, council would only need a resolution to elect the deputy chairs. So I'll need somebody to move with GB8.
Sorry, may I suggest that we move them in seriatim?
Correct, yes.
A and B.
Yep. Just for A and B, yes.
Just for A and B in seriatim.
So for
Do we need to vote on that procedural change?
Yes, we do. Well, so moved by Councillor Greg Taylor for in seriatim, seconded by Councillor Alec Taylor. So, okay, you can put your name in the papers, it's all right. Seconded Councillor Wheatley. All those in favour of voting in seriatim for A and B? That is unanimous. All right, so we have point A to deal with, which is the election of chairperson and
Deputy Chair,
deputy chair.
not the chair.
No, the deputy chair for the Multicultural Advisory Committee. Councillor Nye.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Spencer for, which one would you like, chair or deputy?
The mayor is the chair.
Oh, okay, so I would like to nominate Councillor Spencer as the deputy for the Multicultural Committee.
So, Councillor Nye, you're moving a motion that the deputy chair be Councillor Spencer for the Multicultural Advisory Committee,
Yes.
and
Sorry, I don't know if this is a point of order. Can we just have this clarified? So I feel like we haven't voted on yourself being chair yet. Do we do that, or does that come at the end? Or sorry, I'm just a little bit confused. If you can clarify, that'd be great.
Director Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The terms of reference for both of these committees provide that the chairperson be the mayor or a councillor nominated by council. So in the absence of a resolution appointing another councillor, the mayor is the chair. So with respect to the voting, the appointment of the deputy, so there's two options. The simplest way is to do it by resolution. So someone moves a motion that Councillor X be appointed deputy, and then if someone wishes, they could move an amendment to that, and it's done that way. The alternative is the acting general manager runs a quasi-election process, which really ends up with the same outcome, but it's a little bit more complicated.
And so I think if we voted on this, or we still have to vote on this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to clarify, the mayor is the chair unless council resolves otherwise. So it is open for council to move that someone else be the chair. But if
Great. Thank you. Thanks very much.
So you can then see the
You've got the,
change of wording on point A.
it's not moved by Greg Taylor. It was moved by Councillor Pettit.
Because I feel I was only moving that we go in seriatim, not the actual.
Yeah, that's what I thought he meant too. I thought he meant that too.
Sorry, I confused that.
No, that's okay. We'll be voting on
I
point A, which will be the deputy chair,
That's why
and for that committee, and then vote on the next one. Councillor Nye.
Just for clarity, I'd like to amend what I said for point A. So for point A, I'd like to move the mayor as the chairperson and Councillor Spencer as the deputy chairperson for point A.
Thank you, Councillor Nye. That just follows the wording on the screen.
Am I able not to move that? And somebody else? Is that okay? I would prefer that if that's possible.
Okay, so Councillor Nye is moving point A and seconded Councillor Wheatley. Yep. Yep. So procedurally, it is Councillor Greg Taylor and Wheatley to vote in seriatim,
Thank you very much.
and then Councillors Nye and Wheatley for point A.
I'm sorry, Mr Mayor, can I just foreshadow a motion that if this is unsuccessful, I'd like to move that Councillor Ward chair the Multicultural Committee?
As what?
As the chair of the Multicultural Committee, picking up Director Marshall's comments in the absence of a resolution. I appreciate your good self would be the chair, but given that Councillor Ward was the prime mover, in fact some would say the only mover behind this committee, and she is, in her words, a woman of multicultural background, unquote, with a very prominent role in the Indian community and good relations with other communities.
You're actually debating on a foreshadowed motion which we have yet to get to, so
Oh,
all you need to do is just like foreshadow a motion.
Oh,
That's okay.
Mr Mayor, is that not an amendment rather than a foreshadow?
You can go either way. Are we good to go? All right, so point A is that Council elects the Mayor as the Chair and Councillor Spencer as Deputy Chairperson of the Multicultural Advisory Committee. And I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Spencer, Councillor Kay. Point A, the one highlighted. Councillor Wheatley, Councillor Nye, Councillor Pettit, Councillor Smith. Those against? Councillors Alec Taylor, Councillor Ward, Councillor Lennon, Councillor Greg Taylor. That is carried. Point A. We move to point B.
Point of order, aren't we meant to ask Councillor Spencer if he accepts this?
Oh yeah, I accept it.
He accepted. He gave me the quick nod. So we move to point D, which Council elects the chairperson, which is the Mayor, and we call for nominations for the Deputy Chairperson of the Active Transport Reference Committee.
I've got a motion. This is point B, right?
Yes.
May
I was just expanding so people knew exactly where we're at. So, Councillor Spencer?
I move that the Mayor as the chairperson, this is for point B, and Councillor Spencer as deputy chairperson for the Active Transport Committee. Need a seconder, that's all.
And a seconder for that nomination. Seconded is Councillor Kay. Are there any other? Councillors, if somebody else wishes to be the deputy for this particular committee, you would need to move an amendment. Or chair as well too. So is that crystal clear? Okay. All right, councillors, there'd be no amendment on this particular one. Happy to move point B. All those, I'm assuming both Councillor Spencer, you wish to be deputy? Thank you. All those in favour? That is councillors Spencer, Kay, Alec Taylor, Wheatley, Ward, Nye, Greg Taylor, Councillor Pettit and Councillor Smith behind the scenes. Yes. And against? Councillor Lennon. That's carried. We've just got to have to see. Councillor Spencer, you might wish to move points C and D as well too, because we had in seriatim.
Procedural.
Yes.
Procedurally,
Yes.
that is point B, C, and D as printed.
Just C and D. Yep.
C and D, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. So this is just procedurally where we're moving points C and D. Moved Councillor Spencer, seconded Councillor Greg Taylor. All those in favour? That is unanimous. That's it for the GBs. Yep. Councillor Nye, your notice of motion.
Should we do NM1 first or C2? Just clarifying.
We can do your NM.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
With NM1, I'd like to move something on the screen. I'll read it out while the staff find it. So point A, council halts the divestment of land at 47 Lorraine Road, Roseville Chase. So that's different to what was originally in print. It takes out the reclassification. Points B and C remain the same. So it's point B, staff prepare land use options for the former Roseville Chase Bowling Club site, incorporating a combination of public open space at approximately 50% of the site and R3 medium density residential townhouses. And point C, that a report be brought back to council with recommendation for preferred option and recommendations to commence a planning proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Nye. And seconder, Councillor Spencer. Councillor Alec Taylor, you have your light on for this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to move an amendment, and the amendment is the first
I'm
point.
sorry. Point of order, if I may seek
Yes.
clarification. I believe Councillor Nye should speak to it first and then the amendment, isn't it?
I'll reserve my right to speak.
That's okay. Thank you, Councillor Nye. Councillor Taylor, if you could resume.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I would like to. Do we have a seconder?
Did you wish to speak at this time or reserve your right? Thank you. One more time.
Okay, third time lucky. Thank you very much. I'd like to move an amendment. The staff have it. It is actually just point A from Councillor Nye's original motion as printed in the paper. And it reads, Council does not proceed with the divestment of land at 47 Warrain Road, Roseville Chase, and the land be reclassified from operational land back to community land in accordance with Section 33 of the Local Government Act 1993.
So that amendment's moved by Councillor Alec Taylor. Is there a seconder for that amendment? Seconded Councillor Greg Taylor. Councillor Alec Taylor, do you wish to speak to your amendment?
Briefly. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the community was never engaged in the decision to reclassify 47 Warrain Road, Roseville Chase from community land to operational land. In 2013,
Sorry, point of order.
Council...
Point of order, Councillor Spencer.
I'm not sure if the community wasn't engaged.
I'm about to clarify, if that's okay.
No, because the statement says the community wasn't engaged.
A point of order would normally, where there is an error within the code of meeting practice, not necessarily within fact or alleged facts. Okay. That's okay. Thank you,
It's
Councillor.
misleading.
We shall see how
Yeah.
things progress.
So actually they were engaged in 2013 on reclassifying the groundskeeper's cottage. And the community engagement at that time was on the basis that the remainder of the land would revert to community use. The council subsequently resolved to reclassify that small portion of land and revert the rest, but it never happened. The community lost their community land without having a chance to fight for it. This amendment will right that wrong. It will preserve the only accessible open space in the area for current residents and future generations.
Thank you, Councillor Alec Taylor. Councillor Greg Taylor, a second up.
I just have a question through you, Mr. Mayor, to the relevant director. Can we hear a little history on what Alec is presenting? Councillor Taylor is presenting here, please.
Director, and I think this involves the 2013 subdivision which never actually happened. And therefore, the opportunity to revert back to community land was never a possibility. Is that what you were referring to?
Yes.
Director?
That's a very good summary, Mr. Mayor. I don't think I've got anything to add. That's correct, Mr. Mayor. The land, the community was certainly engaged because you cannot reclassify part of a title. You have to reclassify the whole of the title. Now, for various reasons, the land wasn't subdivided, largely because at the time council was focused on fit for the future mergers. Council undertook its own restructure in which a number of people who were actively managing this particular matter were exited from the organisation, and circumstances where the club folded followed shortly thereafter. So the council of the day took a different approach with this piece of land, which didn't see it being subdivided. It saw the land being rezoned for disposal in its entirety. So it's a long and complex history, but circumstances on a number of points changed. So council's direction changed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Councillors, any more questions or debate on this particular amendment? Councillor Lennon?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Smith?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, through you to the Director. Were not all the councillors briefed on this prior to this meeting this evening? As in, they received information of exactly what was just spelt out then?
Director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that is my understanding, bearing in mind that I was absent when that occurred. But that is certainly my understanding, yes.
And I believe Mr. Fabro did circulate such information. Councillor Smith?
Thank you. Just a question through to you to Councillor Lennon, if I may. Sorry, Councillor Alec Taylor.
Fire away.
Councillor Taylor, considering that you had all that information in front of you, and then you've gone to put this up tonight, can you just please advise for what grounds or what you thought, because you were unable to sort of challenge it or move forward, yet you've put it here tonight that something wasn't acted upon. So my thoughts are you're off base, but if you could please clarify it, that might help.
Councillor Taylor, is that
I don't,
somewhat clear?
No, I beg your pardon. What's the question, sorry?
Councillor Smith, you can make it be a little bit more
short. The question
short.
is, you were briefed on this prior to the meeting, you've had it in writing, you've had it in conversation, yet you've proposed this amendment that something wasn't carried out properly and putting it that you're righting a wrong, which is clearly not the case. So I'm just trying to understand the reasoning for your amendment in the way that you put it this evening.
Thank you very much for your question, Councillor Smith. We are absolutely righting a wrong. And what I said at the start was absolutely correct. So the community, and if you go back and read the community consultation paper from 2013, which I would welcome everybody or encourage everybody to do, you will see that the original paper said that the remainder of the land will revert to community use. That was the basis of the community engagement. It's as simple as that. There was no subsequent community engagement on the reclassification of the land. That was the basis of the engagement with the community on the reclassification of the land, that it will revert to community use, that the remainder will revert. It's there in the paper, it's in the consultation paper. We have wronged the community in this situation. We have an opportunity right now in this chamber to right that wrong.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May I indulge? Would you please indulge me a little bit further? Please ask a question through to Director Watson. Could you please explain how the council prior hasn't done anything wrong and that there is no wrongs being corrected here? And just maybe, so it's just a little bit clearer for Councillor Taylor, please.
Director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it has now been confirmed to me that what was circulated to councillors was advice from Shaw and Reynolds dated 14 October, and nowhere in that advice does it say former councillors have done anything wrong.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
Councillor Lennon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Director Watson, just focusing on the subdivision, the council resolved in 2013 to rezone subject to the subdivision. The bowling club did not close until 2018. That's a full 5 years later. Now, a few minutes ago, you suggested there were a number of reasons why the subdivision did not actually occur. Can you please explain how it could take 5 years and still the subdivision did not occur? Thank you.
Director, if you could summarise what happened between 2013 and the folding.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I thought my original answer was pretty clear about that. Council was focused on other things. It was dealing with Fit for the Future, and the people who were dealing in this matter were exited from the organisation. And by the time the organisation was refocused on ordinary business, the circumstances around this site had fundamentally and substantially changed, and the council of the day took a different view.
Thank you, Director. I hope that clarifies things.
Well, I understand that. It's just extraordinary that 5 years could pass and all that managed to stop the subdivision occurring.
Councillor Greg Taylor?
So I'd just like to clarify. From what I understand, if anything is changed from community land to operation land, it has to go through a community consultation process. Is that correct?
Director, that's normally correct.
That is correct, and it did.
And it did.
Correct.
And so for the whole land to be converted to operational land, or was it just one site that was converted to operational land that went through the consultation process?
The whole of the land went to consultation. So there was absolutely no dispute or misunderstanding that the whole of the land was involved. What never occurred was the subdivision, and the reclassification back was only ever subject to the subdivision occurring, which didn't occur. And that's on the public record, never been hidden, covered in the advice that was circulated to councillors a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Spencer?
Just a quick question, please. Who was the mayor in 2013 when this happened? This wrong happened. Thank you.
2013 would probably have been Councillor Anderson. I'm probably going to... So it was either Councillor Malecki or Councillor Anderson, depending on the time of year that this particular resolution went through. If it was in June of 2013, then it would have been Councillor Malecki.
Is that correct?
Yep, because I was there.
Councillor Malecki. All right.
Yep.
I'm sorry. She was the mayor at the time.
That's okay.
All right. And subsequently, when Councillor Anderson became mayor, did she right that wrong?
No, she did not take any subsequent...
Point of order.
Point of order, Councillor Smith.
Point of order. I don't even understand how this is coming into this debate in regards to who was on council at what time. And I think that of the latest legal clarification that we've had, that I would believe that most councillors would pay attention to, nothing was wrong. So I don't understand
So I think your point of order there, Councillor Smith, is where you're sort of heading with this. Is there any relevance of who was the mayor
Well,
at what
Yep,
particular time?
relevance or whatever you like.
I think
No,
that's
correct. Yeah, I don't see that in the first place this question should be entertained, because if someone is saying that there is a wrong, and now someone wants to right the wrong, now in the beginning of every council meeting you have said that you should not accuse or allege someone for a breach of code of conduct. So if someone has done something wrong, that's a breach of code of conduct. So that's my issue. So if this council is to entertain that, then we are inconsistent with the code of conduct, because we are allowing a councillor to make allegations that there was a breach that happened, there was a wrong that happened, and that was why I said it was a point of order in the first.
Thank you, Councillor Spencer. And I think I can see where you've taken that argument, that you're potentially saying that people did not necessarily follow procedures back in 2013, alleging that.
No, what I'm saying is that today, the councillor who is making allegations, who has alleged that there was a wrong done,
Like prior.
regardless,
Yep.
it's not supposed to do that. Okay? Regardless of
Yep.
what the rule was in 2013 or whatever, but the rule today says you cannot allege a breach of code of conduct. Today, you cannot allege.
Agreed, yes.
Thank you.
I'm not doing that, Mr. Mayor.
It's okay. Director?
If councillors have that advice in front of them, and I'm sure some of them do, paragraph 15 appears to me to be very clear about the very matter we're talking about. Maybe councillors want to go into closed committee to discuss legal advice, but there is absolutely nothing in 15 that suggests to me anything is wrong. In fact, to the contrary.
I think that's fairly clear, isn't it, from the legal advice, that there's nothing, no wrongdoing? Councillor Spencer, do you have another?
Yeah, I haven't finished. So if there's
Okay.
if there's no wrongdoing and the councillor is not supposed to allege, then I move that this councillor withdraw that statement. Thank you.
Councillor Taylor, or perhaps you might wish to withdraw or rephrase.
Got a point of order. Is this motion unlawful? And that would obviously be a question to David Marshall.
So we're talking about the amendment that Councillor Taylor. One moment. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion or the amendment from Councillor Alec Taylor is not unlawful.
Councillor Spencer, you have finished?
No, the statement.
Okay. I'll put it to you, Councillor Alec Taylor, that perhaps you might wish to rephrase some of your words.
Yes, absolutely.
That
Thank you,
perhaps
Mr. Mayor.
that the community felt aggrieved or something
I
like that.
actually did not say, and it was not saying that we have legally done something wrong. So I don't believe that we have broken the law. I think we have a moral obligation and a duty to the community that I think we have let them down on. That's what I'm talking about.
I think that's more acceptable wording. Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Lennon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Director Watson. Picking up on that point, how would the Director suggest we respond to the residents of Roseville Chase who today tell us that they felt in 2013, given the words of the council resolution at that time, the only long-term, if you like, rezoning that was contemplated related to the caretaker's cottage? So while the legal advice is obviously quite correct and there's no question of illegality or the validity of the rezoning, the residents felt that they were consulted on, if you like, a total rezoning when, given the words of the resolution, they feel, rightly or wrongly misled into thinking that all council ever intended to do was to rezone the caretaker's cottage and nothing else. So I'd welcome your advice as to how we respond to those residents.
Director, I think that's an interesting concept, how you see the way that the residents interpreted that resolution.
through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't think I can go back and tell a narrative that started 13 years ago that would lead people to come to a different conclusion. There are people who stood in the public forum last week who are on the public record as saying, and I followed up the emails during the week, that we want our land zoned R3 as well, and if you don't, we're going to make this difficult for you. And 2 weeks ago, they're telling councillors, we want this kept as open space. Those emails are part of the public record. So people have changed their views to suit the circumstances.
Thank you, Director. I think that probably answers that the residents have varying views on what should be done with the site.
Oh no, that is certainly the case. I'm thinking about this specific allegation made by residents of today, and I thank you for that suggestion. I'd also welcome, if I may, a categorical denial from Director Watson of an allegation made by a resident that, should we say, a council staff member looked upon Roseville Bowling Club as being, quote, a cash cow long before the club closed. Could you dispel that concern that a resident has? That, if you like, council seized the opportunity to close the bowling club to sell it for money. Did not ever consider Roseville Bowling Club a cash cow until obviously it closed is a different game.
Before I'll let you lead into that, Director, it's certainly something that we didn't want to happen. We had no desire to have disused bowling clubs being thrust back to council, so it was never seen by council staff nor councillors of the time as these bowling clubs were cash cows. Director?
It's not a view that I have ever held or expressed personally, so it's not a matter that I'm able to refute on behalf of people who I don't know whether or not they've said it or thought it. But it's not something I ever entertained, Councillor Lennon.
Thank you.
Councillor Nye?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to just speak briefly on this. From what I can tell, there's been a bit of confusion. I think it's really just to do with two perspectives. From the residents' perspective, certain things have happened and they don't have an answer. From the councillor's perspective, certain things have happened, but we have received legal advice that clarifies the matter. I think the issue at the moment is that that legal advice hasn't been provided to the residents. So councillors can make decision from one point of view. However, from the residents' perspective, that remains unanswered. But that's really just what's going on. I'm not going to comment on whether people are doing the right thing, wrong thing, whatever it is. But I'm just saying that there's a bit of missing information to the public. And therefore, while that piece of information is missing to the public, there may continue to be questions going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nye. Councillor Alec Taylor, you have questions? That's okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councillor Smith?
I'd like to be speaking against this. I think that we're in a very challenging period at the moment. This amendment that Councillor Alec Taylor has put up is purely ignoring everything that we've got to supply, that we're trying to provide from an old bowling club site, and obviously he's had no thought process put into it with sporting clubs and everything else.
Councillor Smith, I probably ask you to rephrase that, saying had no thought process. I think you might be able to find some more appropriate wording.
Hasn't taken into account the challenges that we've got to find money to provide sporting facilities. We've got theatres that we're trying to provide, all these type of things, and we've got an old bowling club. For those reasons, I cannot support Councillor Alec Taylor's amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Is there any further questions or debate on this particular amendment? So I am prepared to put Councillor Alec Taylor's amendment, which will go back up on the screen, just to refresh your memories. That's fine. So the amendment is council does not proceed with the divestment of land of 47 Warrane Road, Roseville Chase, and that the land be reclassified from operational land back to community land in accordance with section 33 of the Local Government Act 1993. All those in favour of the amendment, that is Councillors Kay, Alec Taylor, Councillor Nye, Councillor Greg Taylor. Against? Councillor Spencer, Councillor Wheatley, Councillor Ward, Councillor Lennon, Councillor Pettit, Councillor Smith. The amendment is lost. We revert back to the motion moved by Councillor Nye. And we can resume debate and questions on that, should you so desire. Councillor Lennon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When we looked at this issue back in February, I put a lot of thought to my vote, and I feel like the council made a decision concerning the rezoning and divestment of this particular site in February, which I assumed we would stick to, and since then I've not really entertained revisiting a decision already made. I think when council makes a decision, we should proceed forward and deal with it accordingly. Now, in the last few months, we've seen something very different happening at the Gordon Bowling Club, where a resolution was passed by council to halt the rezoning and sale and to turn that site into a multi-use public recreational and sporting facility. Now, the man and his enablers who would sell the Gordon Bowling Club site have continued to proceed with every measure imaginable to further that sale.
Councillor Lennon, the Gordon Bowling Club site actually isn't on the agenda this evening, so I'd rather you stick to the Roseville Bowling Club site.
No, I appreciate that. I'm simply explaining why I am changing my vote that I made in February. To see that after all, this council does not stick to its decisions, as it didn't in terms of the August resolution on the Gordon Bowling Club. I have a lot of sympathy for our Roseville Ward councillors who have spent the last few months revisiting it. Why wouldn't they, when the people who sought to sell Gordon Bowling Club have not accepted that decision? So given that we're a council that revisits decisions, why wouldn't we revisit the decision at the Roseville Bowling Club? I also pick up Councillor Alec Taylor's point, and look, Director Watson is right. There's no question of any illegality, and there's no question that the rezoning is lawful. The legal advice we received is perfectly proper, as you would expect. There's a certain moral, if you like, aspect to this, by which the reality is some, even many residents, certainly not a majority, but many residents of Roseville Chase feel somewhat cheated by what has happened. I feel like this motion is a chance to start over, where there's no ambiguity, there's no hint of a subdivision, no one's suggesting that will happen. This is a very clear proposal concerning the Roseville Chase Bowling Club site, which the residents of Roseville Chase and elsewhere in this municipality can respond to, knowing that this is what's on the table. So there can be no question of, if you like, the moral position of council. I think this is a constructive step forward, given all the circumstances that we are in at the moment. And I also note that, look, the only reason to sell the bowling club was money, as we heard a few minutes ago. Ideally, we would keep all the public lands in public use, but we do want money. There are things we want to do. We'd certainly like to build a theatre, although that resolution shot down last month. So it makes sense to proceed with a sale. And I just, if you like, back of the envelope sort of calculations, I can see that this proposal would be roughly revenue neutral. That the money that council would raise by this proposal would be of the order, you'd think, of what we would have raised pursuant to the February resolution. So look, I think this is worth supporting, and I'm prepared to support it, and I commend the dedication of our Roseville Ward councillors for persisting with this over so many months. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lennon. Councillor Alec Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I find myself in the unusual position where I'm going to be speaking for this motion, despite having tried to move an amendment that was different. I believe we should pass this motion because it's better than the alternative. I think that the current path we're on with 47 Warrane Road is to sell it at R2, and I personally believe that a developer will successfully rezone the site to R3 and capture a huge amount of value. I think that would be a very, very poor outcome for Ku-ring-gai. So a better outcome for Ku-ring-gai would be for us to split the site in two, zone half of it at R3 and sell it like that, and then keep at least half of it for the community to use as their open space. They need open space in this area. This is better than the alternative, so I am in favour of this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Kay.
Just want to confirm with councillor Nye. Now, this is just a report I see that is coming back, and probably with the relevant director too, that this is actually coming back. It is just a report with recommendations.
I'm pretty sure that's the wording, Councillor Kay, but Councillor Nye?
Yes, the wording asks for a report. It doesn't make any decisions to sell.
Thank you, councillor Nye.
Councillor Alec Taylor, your light was on beforehand. That's okay. Councillor Wheatley.
Can we put a time frame on this in regards to when the report can be brought back, please? Obviously,
I will
yeah.
refer to the relevant director
Yeah,
whether a
that's- yeah,
time frame is
Thank you.
possible. Are we talking approximate monthly range,
Could it be done by February next year?
given that we've got Christmas and
Yeah.
January? Okay.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, this requires a fair bit of work, which is unfunded. It would require design work, evaluation work. It's not something that's turned around and brought back in a couple of months.
March? April?
I think you're probably looking post June
June would be the absolute earliest, I would think. And
and
that's
to
not
get
having-
funding as well too.
Can we actually add that into June? Okay, great. Thank you.
Can I suggest, rather than a month, put the third quarter of next year? That gives you July, August, September. Given that we also have to do the same thing for Gordon.
That's fine. So third quarter.
Thank you, councillor. The mover and second are happy with that. Councillor Nye? Councillor Spencer? So that will be incorporated within the motion. Either one in there is fine. That's all good. September, Q3. Depends on financial or calendar or et cetera, et cetera. Councillor Kay.
Just a quick question through you, Mr. Mayor, to Director Watson. We spoke about Gordon. Would I be right to assume that Gordon would come back before this particular recommendation, only because that was done last month, so in a sequence?
Director, I'll let you handle that one.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Gordon is in exactly the same boat. It's unfunded, so both of them would require budget adjustment at quarterly budget reviews, and frankly, there's synergies in getting consultancies running parallel, so I would say they both come back together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kay. Councillors, any further questions or debate on this particular motion? Councillor Nye, as mover of the motion, do you wish to sum up?
No thanks. It's all in print, my position. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nye. So I'll put the motion moved by Councillor Nye, seconded Councillor Spencer, as per the screen. All those in favour? That is unanimous. Will you? One more time. All those in favour? Councillor Spencer, Councillor Kay, Councillor Alec Taylor, Councillor Wheatley, Councillor Ward, Councillor Lennon, Councillor Nye, Councillor Smith, Councillor Pettit. Against, Councillor Greg Taylor. Councillors, we move to C2, which is the recycling bins report, which was withdrawn by Councillor Greg Taylor.
Speak to it now.
Not yet. Are you going to move anything that is in confidential or just as per the officer's recommendation?
I did want to add an amendment, but I don't think it is confidential. Has nothing to do with any costings or anything like that.
One moment.
No worries.
It's to receive and know. So so it's a very simple one-line recommendation, but we will have to move into confidential for,
We will have to, you think?
yes, because we're actually going to have to announce what it is. Right, so I need a motion to go into confidential. Moved Councillor Wheatley, Councillor Alec Taylor is seconded. All those in favour to go into confidential? That is unanimous. And microphone's off.